Luke, have you nicked my Twix? I clearly left it in the fridge marked dark. Roll the B-roll.
Tea and a Twix, can't beat it. So today we're going to take a look at the Shoei Ex Zero. I've owned the helmet for just over a year now. I've covered about 15,000 miles in it, worn it in all weathers, and I'm going to give you my account of what it's like to live with it and the pros and cons and how I feel about the helmet overall. And hopefully it will give you an idea and some insight on whether or not you're thinking about a Shoei Ex Zero and whether or not it's going to suit you. So just to give you a brief overview, the Shoei Ex Zero is a modern take on their Ex Zero range back from the 1980s. And it's an off-road inspired helmet, and it's made for today's modern classic cafe racer style rider. So if you own a modern day scrambler, or if you are into that sort of retro look, then I don't think you're going to beat something like the Ex Zero. Okay, so what I'm going to do is look at the fit, the comfort and the practicality of owning the Shoei Ex Zero. In terms of the fit, it's a snug fit. It's not like those helmets though that push your cheeks that are so tight you're like, oh, you know, I'm going to bite my own cheeks if I move my lips. It's a snug fit and it feels like a quality snug fit, but not overly tight. There's also the other thing I like about this is where the earpieces are, you've got a bit of a recess so it's not pressing against your ears like this, which for me, I don't know if you find this, but if the helmet's too tight around my ears, and you know, that can become painful, and I don't really like it pressing against that. You can get sort of a bit of a headache if it's too tight around this area. There's a nice little recess inside which is away from the ears, which is the thing I really noticed about this when I first bought it. But I suppose the other benefit of that is if you wanted to put some comms inside, you've got the space to put some comms. If we're talking comfort, then let's talk airflow. So obviously when you're riding on a hot day and stuff like that, you know, you're going to want to get air inside here because it's going to get hot. And there have been times when I have been hot in that. But you have got this big opening that does let a lot of air in. You've got these vents here, but I'm not sure that they actually do much because that's where you've got your main airflow coming in anyway. There are no vents on the top, so you can't let any extra additional air in to touch the top of the head. There are these little vents back here, but I couldn't really comment to say that I noticed that they do anything. I suppose they're there to let excess hot air out, because they do go up inside. But yeah, I couldn't really comment on that. But no, I've never really experienced getting overly hot in this helmet, and I think that's probably due down to the large opening at the front. So let's talk about noise. Well, obviously it's not a closed face helmet. It has got a large opening, and so therefore you are going to get more road noise in this than you would from a conventional closed face, full face helmet. Saying that, it is fairly good. I mean, it's not excessive, but if you are riding on a motorway for long periods of time, you are going to want to protect your ears and pair that up with some noise reducing earplugs. Okay, so this is an extra small and it weighs just over 1 kilogram. It's super comfortable to ride in. In terms of the weight, it's not got a lot of pressure on the head. It is extremely light. It doesn't get a lot of wind wobble either. So yeah, in terms of the weight, I think it's super light and you're going to find it comfortable if you're riding in that for long periods of time. The entire lining is removable from this helmet, which is really good because obviously as a rider, if you're wearing it all the time, if you've got products in your hair, it can get dirty quite quickly. So it's really nice that this can actually come out. You can also replace these, so if they become damaged or they become worn over time, the lining is completely removable and you can actually get replacements. And I think the cheap pads are about £40 a pair, and the actual headliner part is about £35. So yeah, it is a little bit expensive if you wanted to replace those, but the good thing is obviously it is replaceable if you needed to. So if you're going to ride with something like the Shoei Ex Zero, you're going to want to pair it up with a pair of goggles. Now if you watch my other video on the bar stows, I pair this up with a set of bar stows, again, you may want to double check that the goggle that you're using fits this visor. So if you are pairing it with a goggle, there are going to be times when you're out and it's going to get dark and you're going to need to take those goggles off. Well, what's really good about this is it's got a clear visor. You can get a tinted visor, but it's got, so if you didn't want to ride with goggles and you just wanted to wear this, you could put a tinted visor on, but you have got the option to obviously use this, remove the goggles and use this if you needed to. And the other good thing about that is you've got a couple of little tabs in the side here where you can adjust how far down this goes. So depending on your head shape and where your nose sits, you can actually move this visor slightly down or slightly up. So the other thing to consider when it comes to practicality is obviously riding in different weather conditions. Now, as you can see, I pair this up with my Barstow goggles, and there is an opening here where my nose will sit, and there's a gap all the way around here. When I've ridden in rain, it's really painful. I mean, if the rain is whipping and it comes down in here and it hits your face, it's really painful. I've had to ride sort of with my head slightly tilted to try and stop the rain slapping my face. One thing I would recommend is to ride with a buff and to put the buff up over, which will take some of the heat, because it's obviously not only rain, but it'll be things like, you know, bees and wasps and any sort of insect flying around, as well as road bits and bobs. You want to protect yourself. So yeah, I would put a buff up, which is what I do. On sunny days, it can be a problem if it's really bright. You know, you are sort of riding, tilting your head slightly to try and not let the sun get straight into your eyes. You can get a visor for it, which I would recommend. I haven't got the visor, but I would recommend a visor, I think, just to take that sun glare into the eyes out slightly. So how has it held up over the year? I've covered about 15,000 miles in this. I've ridden in all weathers. The finish is still pretty much the same as when I bought it, you know. It's the matte black version. I've not got any shiny patches coming on it and things like that. It's faring really well. In terms of the liner, I mean, I've got some other helmets, HJCs and stuff, and these sort of leather bits on my other helmets have all sort of started to peel off over the course of the year, whereas this one has stayed exactly the same as the day that I've got it. There's no peeling, no bits coming off. It feels really well made, and it's lasting really well. Also the liners, I have taken them out just to sort of give them a wash. I could do with giving them another wash, but yeah, they all go back in place really nicely. It's not like they come out and then you try and put them back and it's not sitting right. They press stud in, and yeah, I think it's faring really well over the time that I've had it so far. So in summary, what do I think? Well, I think if you own a modern classic, you like that sort of retro styling, that Darth Vader stealth look, I don't think you can beat the Shoei Ex Zero. It really is a fantastic helmet in terms of its styling and in its functionality and its build quality. It's versatile in that you can sling a pair of goggles on it, and then later on in the day, if it gets a little bit dark, you can take them off and flip down the visor. I absolutely love the helmet. So much I think it's actually changed my riding experience. I feel a greater sense of freedom when I ride. I feel more immersed in my surroundings, and I think that comes from that big opening at the front. You know, you really don't feel restricted, you're out there in the elements. The other thing I like is it's obviously got more protection than an open face helmet because you've got that chin guard at the front. I like the practicality of the helmet as well. I like the fact that you can add a sun visor, you can switch it up with different coloured goggles to suit your look. You can rip them off and pull down the flip down visor, which is also adjustable. You can take out the headlining and fully wash it. And you can replace it as well if you need to. And I think all of those things I really like about the helmet, but the main thing is obviously the riding experience. I really like the way that you feel totally immersed out there in your surroundings. I get on with this helmet so much that I wear it full time when I ride, and that's in all weathers. Yes, it is cold in the colder months. You do get a bit of a face chill, but like I said, I put the neck buff up over there, and obviously that takes some of that wind and coldness out. You might not be as enthusiastic as me, and you might want to swap out for a full face helmet in those colder months, but if you're asking my opinion on the Shoei Ex Zero, I can't recommend it highly enough. It's a well-made product, you feel the quality in the product, and it's a fantastic helmet to ride in. So I hope you found that video helpful. I hope you found it enjoyable to watch. I enjoyed filming the Running Man parts. I haven't done the Running Man since I was about 14. I think you can tell from the dance moves that are a little bit rusty in there. But yeah, subscribe to the channel. We're at 300 subscribers already, so that's really great. If you subscribed, thanks so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd really appreciate it if you do. There's loads more videos coming up. Safe riding, and I'll see you all soon.
Yo, VIP, let's kick it. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Alright, stop, collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a chump like a candle. Dance, crush a speaker that booms. I'm killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Deadly, when I play a dope melody. Anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it.
Oh, things you do for YouTube.
Rules how the kid don't play. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves